Hello everyone, here we are, doing an alfresco apartment for Rolf. I know that I can just do my own prompt for him in Happy Home Paradise, but I didn't do that. I always forget that I can do that until we are already here doing the request. You know what the funny thing was though? I googled some inspiration for this. I wanted to look on Google Images, see like some real life inspiration for something that I could do for this apartment. You know what I found? The majority of the top results were people's screenshots of this build, like of them doing this Happy Home Paradise request. I don't know if it was like a screenshot from a video or whatever. I was just looking in the Google Images tab. I didn't really do much other research after that, and I just kind of went with my own thoughts here. I really love the falling snow wall. I do end up using that as we move inside later on in the video. However, I chose this plot in the winter biome because I realized that you can put plants on it, like trees and shrubs and flowers, and you can't do that with a lot of the other wintry plots, or some of them anyway. I know I've built on some of the ones that look like they're icebergs or whatever, and I always forget that on those, until it's too late, you can't put any plants on them, so they look really barren, and I kind of have to improvise with like the topiaries or the frozen sculptures and stuff, which isn't the end of the world. And I, again, could have used those topiaries and frozen sculptures here. Did I do that? No, because I forgot that they existed. I did, however, go with a different exterior than what I usually do. And I want to use this exterior on my player house when I am upgrading everything on Kringle. I'm not at the point yet where I can actually fully upgrade my house because I'm still paying off a ridiculous loan to Tom Nook. If you guys are interested in checking out my most recent video, it will be linked up in the cards throughout this, as well as in the description and in the end screen. It was not a great time, for lack of a better phrase. Not fantastic. Also, you know what else wasn't fantastic? I woke up this morning and the wind chill. So my phone said it was like 16 degrees out, right? And then it said feels like -1. This was of course Fahrenheit. Don't know what that would be in Celsius. I always say this. I never look it up. You guys can do that if you're really curious. A couple of hours later, it went up to like 18 degrees or something. And then it said that it felt like 3 degrees with the wind chill. It's very windy and very, very cold today. My dog didn't even like being out in it. She went to the bathroom this morning and was back in record time because she was cold, and I felt really bad for her. I do have a little coat, like an actual like winter puffer coat thing for dogs that I got from Roughwear. They make a lot of like dog coats and gear and stuff for dogs, like if you're taking them on hikes or whatever. Did I bring that with us to the cold tundra of the Northeast? No. I accidentally left it in Virginia, where it is not cold. I mean, it's cold for them right now. It's in like the mid-30s for a high, which is very cold for them, and they're probably all not thrilled about it and freaking out. But here, it's even colder, and I am not excited about it. I talked about this in my last video. I really wish that we had snow on the ground. I would be much happier with the cold if there was something to show for it, instead of just freezing. I ended up making the outside of this very campy looking because he wanted an alfresco apartment, and a lot of his requested stuff reminded me of camping, with the sleeping bag and the campfire stuff, not necessarily things that I would want to put inside. And you guys know I was dreading doing this build. I talked about it when I redid his house on my island a little bit, I think, and I've said this a lot in general, like in the past. I don't like it when villager houses are outside, and I was dreading what to do because I didn't know what to do for this build. I didn't want to build an outside inside build, if that makes sense. I also just went with a one story because I didn't have the energy or the inspiration when I was doing this to make a 2-story house. I probably could have made one if I had just made the rooms a little bit smaller, but oh well, it is what it is. We do not end up doing that. As I was saying earlier, I really love the falling snow wall, and I do love that iceberg wall that I used as an accent indoors. However, I wish that we could change when it comes to partition walls what is displayed on the partition wall. So like, I want to be able to use an accent wall in my build, but I don't want the partition wall to reflect the main wall in this build. Like, I wish that when it came to the partition walls, we could change the wallpaper freely, in addition to hanging stuff on them, which is a complaint that I'm always going to have until the end of time, but that's neither here nor there. I complain about this literally every time I use partition walls. I didn't use partition walls in this build. I probably could have. I might have if I had had, you know, more like inspiration renovation, built the upstairs to be a bedroom and a bathroom like I've done in a couple of recent builds, and then the downstairs to just be like a kitchen and living area space. But we didn't do that. I do really like that rock work on the back wall though, using the custom design stickers. It very much is basically the same thing I did in his house on my island, except slightly different because I have more of the rock work on there and the other part of it is a window instead of having several different textures going on the wall. I really like how it looks, but again, like the limitations of this game are sometimes staggering. I almost want to get back into playing The Sims because I really love building, and I do like building in Animal Crossing, but again, there are limitations that prohibit me from doing some things that I really want to do. I'm not a huge fan of The Sims 4. I've only played the base game a few times, and I just couldn't get into it. I love the older Sims games. I grew up with The Sims. I played the original like from the time that I was, I think, 10 or 11, and now here we are, I'm in my early 30s, and I just can't get into The Sims 4. Because I have a Mac though, I can't play The Sims 3 because my Mac is fully upgraded and will not really support any 32-bit games or whatever, which is ridiculous because I have pretty much the whole Sims 3 library just like sitting in my Origin account or whatever it is, EA app. I hate all that because it's so stupid and it barely works, and I've seen a lot of people complaining online about how frustrating The Sims 4 is and even the older games because, you know, EA just riddles everything with bugs. But I love building. So maybe in the future when I get a PC, which I'm hoping to do this year in 2025, we'll see if that comes true, I will play some of the older Sims games. Not maybe like gameplay stuff, but I would love to get back into building houses, and maybe I'll play a little bit. I love Animal Crossing. Like Animal Crossing is always going to be my main game on this channel, but I do want to kind of divert a little bit to other games, especially ones that let me build and design things. But I don't want the building and designing to be the core gameplay mechanic. Like there's no other game like The Sims, but I just don't really want to support EA because of how they're not really doing much to curb all of the bugs and glitches in their games, and just like not really supporting the community and player base. And I know I could sail the high seas and do whatever to acquire games other ways, but I'm looking forward to Paralives and other life sims that are coming out. I talked about this in a recent video as well, so I'm not really going to go into that here, but I, at the end of the day, going back to this build, do like how we end up here with the finished product. I think it looks very cozy, and I think that it's something that he would like, and I would probably even move like another villager in here to be his roommate. I can't think of anyone specific off the top of my head. I generally try to pair villager roommates with people who have like similar requests going on, so then they can just kind of have the same house but they're together. I don't really do much of anything when it comes to upgrading the house after they have moved in with each other. I just kind of like go through the prompts and then leave because I don't have the energy more than often to rebuild or to renovate in a way that makes sense and is cohesive. But going back to The Sims really quick, what are your thoughts on The Sims 4 if you've played it, or any of the older Sims games if you've played them particularly? In terms of like the cute, cozy life simulation genre, I am still enjoying Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I did a couple videos on it. I started playing it when it launched in the summer of 2023, and I really haven't missed a day. I think I missed like a couple of days there in the beginning or something, but I am really enjoying the gameplay and how consistent they are with keeping it updated. Even though there are bugs that crop up every so often, the team is typically relatively quick to rectify them. We do end up getting 30,000 Poki at the end for my work, which again, like probably never gonna get the greatest of all time designer at this point, and I don't want to deal with the whole party thing for celebrating 140 vacation homes because again, I just don't want to. It's the same thing every time, even though it is really cute. I'm just not in the mood to party with them today. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!